Ooh, okay. We're live. Let's see how many people join in. Haven't done a live video on YouTube for a very long time. Usually I do these on Facebook. So I don't know, we'll see how we go here. So the idea is for us to diagnose this guy. I got my tools and we're going to be checking out what's wrong with the X-Maxx. Now a lot of you have already seen the video, which was the running video that I did with the X-Maxx. So I'm hoping that, wow, we've got 18 people that have joined up. Hey guys, hey everybody's saying hello, nice to have you all here. Yeah, I want to see what's going on with this X-Maxx. A lot of people have sort of commented saying that they're kind of curious to see what's going on. So I don't know how best to do this, but let's see if you can hear it. Hang on. Ew. Yeah, that sounds a little rattly in there. So I think it might be some busted gears, but we'll find out. Shannon, we're going to find out what's going on with this guy. So, like I said, I've got my tools here. I've never actually worked on one of these trucks. So for those of you who have got this truck and know exactly what screws to take out, maybe give us a hand. Because I don't know what I'm going to be looking for here. Sand or dirt in the shaft cover. Maybe. Could be that. I don't know. This could be very anticlimactic. Someone said that maybe the pinion gear just slid out. If that's all it is, then that's all it is. We'll see what happens. Now, what do I need here? Probably a 2.5 mil. So, let me see if I can angle this down, and then you guys can see what I'm doing. So there we go. I might bring this a bit closer, maybe. Does that work? Hang on. I'll see if I can angle this down even a bit further. How's that? You can see that okay? And I can sort of see your comments from here. So this kind of works. We've got 26 people on. Hello to everybody that's joined in. Feel free to comment away. We're just going to find out. I'm going to take this cover off here. And we're going to find out what's wrong with the X-Maxx. Because I have not checked it since I did the running video. And you can see it's still dirty. I haven't cleaned it. I've been a bit slack. So I haven't cleaned it yet. What have we got going on? I didn't know that you did live stream. I normally do my live streams on Facebook. I haven't done a live video here on YouTube for probably a couple of years now, I would say. It's been a very long time. Alright, moment of truth. Cover's coming off. Let's see what's going on here. Actually, what I might do, I might flip. Can I flip this camera around? Is it going to let me flip the camera around? Here it is, little button. Here we go. Look at this. Let's have a look. Oh, I see broken gears. Can you see broken gears? Oh boy, here we go. Take that out of there. Hang on, I'm doing this one-handed. Oof, oof. Oh, oh boy, look at that. That is carnage right there. Look at that. That's proper destruction. I knew it. I knew it was broken. I had a funny feeling. These gears, they break proper. This is just like pop metal. It's like cheap pop metal that Traxxas uses on these things. Here we go. Have a look. Look at that. That's the remnants of the spur gear. That's crazy. I had a funny feeling that that's what happened. So, big impact. I mean, it's disappointing in a sense, but like the impact was at the front and none of this broke. Although, I do have a crack on that front arm right there, but that's the only bit that's broken. I was going to get a whole new arm, but I think I'm gonna let that go until the whole thing snaps off. So, I don't know. What do you reckon? Because the other one's okay. And yeah, she's a little dirty. She's a little dirty. So I found on eBay. Oh, and the pinion came loose too. So that's just came clean out. And that was running an 18 tooth. There you go. What else? Someone said send it. Oh, I did send it. Um, gears lift. Gears lift the chat. Yeah. All right. Is that the X-Max? Yeah. So I found on eBay that who is it? Is it Hot Racing? I think Hot Racing does a spur gear for this. So I'm going to get the Hot Racing one, unless you guys can suggest something else. Look at that. That's another bit. Hang on. Wait a second. I have an idea. I'm going to flip the camera around. Sorry. Flip the camera around here real quick. I'm going to tip the truck upside down. I'll see if I can get as many little bits of this gear as I can out of here. So let's see. It's like emptying out a bucket of sand. That's what that felt like. Oh God. All right. That is wow. Alrighty then. That's probably as much as we can get out of that. Have a look at this. Here we go. Look at that. That's all that's left. Oh yeah, here we go. What? All right, mod 1. So we know that it was a mod 1, so that's good. I want to see if there's a bit here that has. Here we go. 46 tooth for those of you playing at home. There it is. That's what it had in there. So it had a 4618. That's what it had, and here's all the tiny little bit of teeth. So yeah, good times. Great classic hits. All right. Well, we've got quite a lot of people watching. That's pretty cool. Oh, hang on. My stand is collapsing. Let me see if I can bring this up. Sorry if the camera's a little shaky. Here we go. All right. Let's see. What do we got as far as comments? Here we go. Someone said 2050 gearing. So 2050 gearing, you reckon? Got a hair in my mouth. What's going on? Hot Racing spur gear and Robertson Racing pinion. Yep. Okay. Cool. That is wow. But if all it is, not bad. But I definitely still take shaft cover off to give it all the drivetrain. Yeah, I will be doing that. I know that these drive shafts, the stock drive shafts, have a tendency to bend. So yeah, all right. The chassis doesn't bend, but the drive shafts definitely do. All right. Let's see. What do we got? What is the best RC? What is the best RC truck that is cheap? There is so much wrong with that sentence. Okay, so let me see if I can explain. Best RC truck. So best and cheap don't usually go together. And then when you say cheap, there's a lot of perspective there. What could be cheap for someone is expensive for somebody else. And what could be expensive for somebody else is cheap for someone else. So that's really an open-ended question. You can't really answer that. It's kind of hard. Hi, Vas from Poland. Hello, Poland. Hello from Italy. Hello. Ciao. Yeah. So I can't speak Polish, so I can't do that. I want people to do any of that. Definitely not Armour Tough. Yeah, that's kind of unfair. Because Armours definitely have their own issues. What else we got? My Italian lost a tooth once. Okay. So are you going with tougher parts? Was a pretty big hit. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with. I'm not going to go and put the stock stuff back in. So a lot of people are suggesting the 20-50 ratio. So I might give that a shot and see how this thing goes. But yeah, this sort of thing with the smashed gears, I've seen this a lot. Obviously, you know, for those of you who may not know, I work in a hobby shop and we see these a lot. And I can see now how it happens. It happens when you have big impacts like this and there's a lot of pressure on the gears or something causes them to break. And, you know, you don't have to work too hard to smash these up, I suppose. But in fairness, the truck did take a few good hits before this happened. So, but it's just a shame. I mean, the color of the metal on the teeth there, you can see it's kind of pink. So, yeah, this whatever they're using here is not really very good stuff. So, and the teeth on this just seem to be really, really thin. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But it is what it is. That's all good. Savage XS. Yes, there is one. Hi from Australia. Hello. Mega pair of tongs. Chinwag. Alrighty then. Who else we got? Steve. Hey champ. Yikes. Great gear smashing there, mate. Bought an X-Max today. Waited for you to drive one. Bam. Now to hide it from the missus. Yeah, good stuff. Well done, Steve. I'm getting an ANS X-Max too. Should I be worried about the gears? Probably. It depends on what you're going to do with it. I mean, if you're going to do what I did with mine, then yeah, you should probably be a little bit worried about the gears. But since we're done with the X-Max for now, there's really not much I can do about that one other than order some parts. I figured we may take the opportunity. Do a bit of a walk around. We have our Python here. Now I've already filmed the unboxing for that, and I'm currently editing. Well, not currently, I'm talking to you, but the editing process has taken place, and we will be, or I'll be uploading that hopefully by this weekend if all goes well. I've also got this guy. So a lot of people have asked me to get. Oh God, it's mirrored. A lot of people have asked me to get this. This is the 20 million diff oil for the Kraton, which is right over there, the Kraton 8S. So over here we have tucked away our M2C. Whoops. Well, hopefully that will survive. M2C chassis and all its little goodies. So you can see you've got all these little bits here. I'm not sure how half of this stuff goes together, so this is going to be an interesting puzzle for me. But this thing's really nice bit of kit, have to say. Pretty impressed. So that is for our Kraton 8S, which is sitting over there. And then for those of you who haven't seen it, up here we have this guy. And I'm going to have to put the camera down, because otherwise we won't be able to see this. So here we have 5687, 1100 kV, 160 amp, Max 6 combo. So that is going to be stage 1 on that guy. And then I have a Max 5 ESC already, and that is going to be paired up to the 800 kV. I think it's a 56113, and that's going to be going in there as well. We'll do that at a later stage. So there's a lot going on. At the moment, my focus is to fix up the X-Max. So I'm going to be doing that first, because I want to go out there and have another run with it. And in the meantime, I need to put aside a weekend where I'm going to be stripping down the Kraton 8S, changing out all the hardware, and then we'll go back to the track again and give it another run and see how that goes. So that's what I'm hoping to do. Now, I do have a question for all those of you X-Max owners out there. Is it a good idea, let me ask this question this way, is it a good idea to change out the radio on the X-Max? I'm not a fan of the stock I'm not a fan of this radio. Oh, by the way, yeah, have a look at them. So I'm not a fan of this guy. I don't like the feel of the trigger. It feels kind of stiff. And that ESC, I'm not a big fan of that ESC either. So I don't know. The whole feel of the electrics on it, I'm not really into it. So I was thinking of pairing it up with a different radio. So is it a good idea to change out the radio on the X-Max, or should I leave the stock radio and just, someone says, nope, the TSM is great. Alright, so someone's watching from Southern California. Yes, you can. Max 6 for stock motor. So, alright, so John reckons leave the stock radio and just swap out the ESC. Okay, fair enough. Let's see, what else we got going on? We got some people on here. Wow, there's a lot of comments. Looking forward to seeing more from the Limitless. Yes, the Limitless. All right, so I've been doing some testing with the Limitless and the big rocket motor. So the rocket motor has done actually pretty well, but I've had to gear it up. And I had that originally paired up to the Max 8 ESC, and that was cutting out a bit. And I'll explain all of that a little bit later on with the gearing and the video and all that. But now, in the Limitless, I'm running a 34-tooth spur with a 34-tooth pinion. And I'm yet to run it. I'm hoping that maybe I can get a run in this weekend, if weather allows. So that's what we're going for. And we're going to see what sort of top speeds we get out of it. But it's been doing pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with the rocket motor. I've now got the Max 6 in there, a Max 6 ESC. So yeah, I'm going to see how that goes. I think it's going to be pretty fun. And then after I'm done with the rocket motor, I've got the Hobbywing motor, which I was using in my Crazy Chaos Reaper. So I'm going to see how that compares to the rocket motor power-wise running the Max 6 ESC. That's what I'm hoping to do, have a bit of a comparison going on between those two. Because so far, for a cheap motor, I mean, that motor was like $100 or something it cost me. Maybe less, so it should be good. Alright, so we have a lot of comments to go through. Always go to DX5, lovely feel on the transmitter, hey? Model memory is your friend. It's familiar. I do all my cars too. One radio, yeah. I mean, look, I don't mind the whole TSM thing, but I don't really have a massive need for it. I'm just not a fan of this transmitter. I don't like them. And, if you've never had anything else, you probably love it. You probably think it's great. But I've had a few others, and I guess I've been a little bit spoiled. And when you drive something like this, it just, I don't know, I don't like the trigger feel. It fits good in the hand, though. But, I don't know, it's just something about it. Not a fan. Okay, what else we got going on here? Sorry, while I tap the screen. What is your best RC truck? Well, geez, I don't really have a best RC truck. It really depends on the day and what sort of mood I'm in. I mean, at the moment, if I was to pick one of the best trucks that I've driven recently, it has to be the Mojave. I'm a big fan of the Mojave. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. It's definitely the best truck that Arrma has produced so far. I think it's great. The electrics could be a little stronger for a truck that big, but man, it still holds and it goes well and it's super tough. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the Mojave. But then, how can you go past a Creighton? How can you go past an Outcast or a Notorious? They all have their purpose. They all have their place. There's not one that rules them all, because each RC has a specific trait, I guess, has a specific specialty, and that's why there's so many different ones. That's why there are so many different companies, because there's something for everybody's tastes, right? And when you take branding aside and you just look at the different types of cars, just the types of cars that there are out there, you can't have one that's better than all the others. Like, yeah, I mean, the X-Max is a great truck, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't do some of the things that some of my smaller cars can do. It's not as fast as some of the other cars that I have, and, it's not as agile, or it does some things better than the others, but it doesn't do some things as well as some of the others, if that makes sense. So there's always going to be, if you're really into this hobby, you're always going to have more than one, because there'll be one that, it's good, but I want to be able to do that a little bit better, so you get a car that does that particular task a bit better. And that's probably the best way that I can explain it. What else we got going on here? I'm using Max 6 and 8S now, going for my first 8S run on the TP Power 4060 2 Panther 4S, oops, sorry, 39 tooth spur, 29 tooth pinion. Alright, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Sorry, I'm shaking the phone a little bit as I'm scrolling through, so apologies for that. Wow, we've got a lot of people on here. Pat, Mojave for the win. Yeah. If you, I mean, look, if you have the means to get one, or you have a friend that owns one, steal the remote, drive the thing, and let me know if I'm wrong. Because I absolutely love, you know, the Mojave. The thing that impressed me the most about the Mojave is kind of the opposite of what let me down on the Kraton. So let me explain. When I knew the Mojave was coming out, I still had the hype for what was next, because I had a feeling of what was coming up next, and I was leaving that hype, that anticipation. I was leaving that for what was going to be the Kraton 8S. So the Mojave was something that it was released as a replacement for the Senton 6S, and I don't know, it didn't have the hype that the Kraton 8S did. But when I drove the Mojave, it was like it exceeded my expectations, because my expectations weren't really brought up too high. You know, they were kind of like mediocre. I was like, oh, okay, so it's just going to be a big Senton. It's not going to have solid rear axle. So they're not trying to compete with the UDR or the Super Baja Ray. I almost forgot the name of it. So it's like, okay, it's going to be its own thing. It's just bigger. It's just going to look like one of those desert trucks, but it's going to handle probably more like an oversized Senton. And I was wrong in the way that it handles, and it just drives so much better than that, and it feels so much better than that. And for something to be as quick as it is, and handle as well as it is, and then be as strong as it is. I mean, that running video that I did with the truck, I beat the snot out of it. I had a lot of big hits, just like I did in the X-Max, and that kept going. So, to me, the Mojave is tougher than the X-Max, because I took it on the same terrain. I had just as many bad impacts, but the Mojave drove home. The X-Max didn't. So, there's that. So for me, you know, as far as the best that Arrma have done so far, Mojave takes the crown. And then, you know, the Kraton 8S was one that that video that I did for it about what happened to the truck and everything was really interesting, because I was just telling a story and I was just giving you guys my feedback after my first drive. It was like a post-run thoughts, I suppose you could call that. And a lot of people took that as a review. Some people got a little butthurt about it. Some people accused me of all sorts of things as well, because I didn't shout it out from the rooftops that I had bent the chassis, you know, the second that I had bent it. But there was reason for that, and the reason for that is, I guess, what you guys have seen now with all the updates that have happened on the Kraton 8S. Because of guys like myself and all the other reviewers that came across these issues and we're in liaison with Arrma, that's the reason why those updates have occurred. All right. Now, we didn't have a direct input into that. We didn't have a say, oh, you know, make the brace like this. That's not our job. Our job is to identify the issues, palm it off to them and say, look, these are the problems. And then, you know, the mad scientists over at Harman HQ, they fix that up, and that's what they've done. So, going back to the anticipation of the Kraton 8S, you know, even with Arrma's launch videos, they were talking about how it's the king, you know, it's the king Kraton and all this sort of stuff. And then you drive the truck, and it doesn't really have that excitement. It doesn't have that feel. So, yeah, it kind of feels like it didn't live up to the expectations and the hype that it had. And that's why I did the video, and that's why my feelings were the way that they were, and that's why I voiced my opinion. That's not the final review of the car, though. Like, that was just me chatting, much like what I'm doing here. That video was done one take. I think I did 2 takes for the intro, and the second one stuck. And then the whole video, that was done one time. I didn't do 2 takes. I just told a story and just went from there. I had an idea of what I was going to say, and that was it. So, but the video, for some reason, caught a lot of traction. It's got more comments than any other video on my channel. It's got more likes than any other video on my channel, I think. So it's quite interesting why it became so popular so quickly. But hopefully the final review of the car is just as popular. Who knows? It probably won't be. Probably no one will watch that one because that's the one that's going to take the most amount of time to film and edit. And that's the one that no one's going to watch. It's always the case. Alright, what do we got going on? This live stream is exactly why I really cherish Vas's opinion. Just an honest opinion from a real mother that's been doing this for years. Straight up. Cheers, mate. Best channel on YouTube. Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate it. Where's the BMX track? So the BMX track now, obviously I can't use the one that's just around the corner from my place. I'm pointing over here because it's literally 5 minutes up the road. Like I've walked my dog up there. So it's very close to my house and we can't use that track anymore. We use now the outside of the track. You guys have seen us do RC Carnage. So we use that space. But the BMX track, the big one where I took the X-Max and I'm taking all the cars now, that's in Altona. That takes me about, if I don't have because I got to go on the freeway for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. If there's no accidents on the freeway or no hold-ups, I can get there in about 45, sometimes a bit quicker, depending on what traffic's like. But yeah, if it's a little bit busy, it can take up to an hour to get there. So when I go there, I don't go there just for one car. Like it's a waste of my time to go there just for one car. If I go there, I usually take 3-4 cars with me, so that I can make some proper content and then edit. So there's one more video that you're going to see. Excuse me. There's one more video that you're going to see from the day where I took the Techno truck and the X-Max, and that's the Seth. I took the Seth with me as well, and yeah, that will be coming up soon. But the next video you'll see hopefully will be the Python unboxing, which I'm hoping will be well received. You can get rid of the stock radio. The TSM helps in jumps. Just lower down the multifunction feature till you are able to drive it in fuel. Okay. Alrighty, what do we got going on here? Do you like the Hobby King Desert Fox? The dog? Yeah. I've still got 2 of my Desert Foxes there. They're both kind of out of action. If I had more time up my sleeve, like there's a lot of little projects that I'd love to complete, but I just don't have that much time. Like tonight, it's diagnosing this. Now I've made a mess on the bench, so I got to clean that up. And I'm doing this live stream because I haven't done a live stream on YouTube for probably a couple of years, so it's been a long time. And I'm actually quite impressed. There's a lot of people watching, so that's good. Normally I do my live streams on Facebook. I use a high-tech Lynx 4S on all my cars except for the X-Max. I can understand once you go premium you can't go back. It's just that the size of the X-Max, it drives very different, yeah. Unlike other trucks and buggies, there's MT out there, yeah. Sorry, just going through. Do you think that lock diffs are really necessary with those thick diff gel available now, except for crawlers? Lock diffs. Do I think lock diffs are really necessary? In what regard? Like in the Basher? I wouldn't use lock diffs in the Basher, but the Kraton kind of needs this stuff because once you gear it up, the front tires just balloon like crazy. So you want the rears to have a bit of traction, a bit of power, and that's what this stuff's for. I heard of people putting, what was it, silicon earplugs on the in the center diff. I've never really done that myself. I was almost keen to try it, but this was cheap enough for me to get, so I just got this. And it's hassle-free. Petrol or electric? Well, for me, it's always electric. How are Ivonic going? Got a set of 4S6700s, and they've been good so far. Just wish they would go back on special, yeah. Yeah, look, Ivonic have been good. I recently got myself a couple more batteries from Ivonic, which I bought myself. I kind of like their batteries. They seem to perform okay. They're not, they don't seem to be cheaply made. The cells haven't given me any dramas yet. So all the batteries that I have from Ovonic so far have been good. There no puffing, no drop cells, nothing like that to report. There's nothing that's like uneven. So there's really nothing going on with the batteries as far as how they performed. I just don't think that there's two things with the Ovonic batteries that have got me a little bit concerned. One is capacity. The capacity that they're claiming on the packs doesn't seem to correspond with what's actually in the packs. And what I mean by that is, let me see if I can show you an example here. So, alright, let's go with these, and let's go with, what have I got here? No, that's the wrong one. Sorry, just looking for a particular battery. Okay, so let me give you an example. Alright, so we have this guy. So this is the Ovonic 5200. Let me flip this around so you can actually see this a bit better. Alright, so we have this guy. 5200 6S 50C. And then we have this guy. 5000 milliamp 50C. Here's where it gets interesting. I use these batteries. You'll notice that they have some Velcro on here. These batteries are used in my jets. I have a couple of 6S jets, and I use them in that. This is where it gets interesting. When I run this battery, I get a 3-minute flight. All right, so I time my flights. So 3 minutes, come in, land, and that's what I get out of these batteries. I do the same thing with this battery. So 3 minutes, come in, land. Where it gets interesting is when I check the voltage of each battery, this one has more voltage left over than this one. Yet this one is supposed to have 200 milliamps more. So how do you explain that? The other thing as well, which I tested on the Limitless, was that running the exact same setup on the car, these ones were cutting out, these ones were not. So milliamp is something that's a little bit questionable, and the C rating is somewhat questionable as well. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Now, this is putting under extreme conditions, right? So as far as speed run packs, I wouldn't go picking this one. I wouldn't go picking this one for speed runs. Like for general bashing, general running, I still feel that these offer excellent value for money. I just don't think the milliamps are 100% accurate. And if you're going to be putting them under high stress conditions where you need that amp draw, you need, the big C rating, I don't think these are the ideal battery for that. But like I said, for general purpose, if you want some cheap, 3 cells or some 4S or whatever, they've been fine. I mean, the battery itself is well constructed. There's nothing wrong with the battery. I've put a lot of cycles through this one, just like I do with a lot of the others. The battery's fine. There's no sagging. There's no, it's not swelling. It's not feeling soft or anything like that. Construction-wise and quality-wise, it seems to be fine. It's just the specs that I think are not 100%. That's all it is. And that's my honest feedback with you guys. So you know exactly what you're getting from me. You always have. I find that these seem to, these in particular, because I've got these, they seem to work quite well, and you can see there's no puffiness on these. They're perfectly flat. There's no wobble with these, and these have been used on my jets as well. They've been working very well, so no problems there. Jet. Someone's saying jets. Yeah, I have jets. Well, you don't know I fly? You don't know I fly? Look, planes here, FPV, that's an FPV wing. Planes here, that's an FPV wing as well. Here, let's go for walkies. Let's go for walkies. Hang on, it's a little dark over here, so we'll need to turn the light on. Here you go, look. There you go, look at that. Plenty of jets. Oh, This thing is beautiful. P47 Razorback from FMS. Runs on 6 cell. So those 5200 Ovonics and that HRB battery fit in here perfect. P40, also a beautiful plane. Look at that. Oh yeah, this is my speed demon so far. Fastest EDF I have, the Futura V2. Absolute weapon. So there you go. For those of you who didn't know. Oh, and there's more planes upstairs. I got more planes upstairs. I just don't have room for all of them over here. But there's yeah, there's more planes upstairs. And I'm looking at getting more. There's a couple on the FMS just released the Avanti V3. So I'm looking at getting that when that arrives in the country. And there's also the Pitts, which apparently the Pitts 1.4 meter, which flies on a 6 cell. So I'm looking at yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my hands on those as well. Do I own the hobby shop? No, I don't own the hobby shop. Probably almost have as many planes and cars as the hobby shop has on display, to be honest with you. Nice studio, thank you. There is a, I did do a studio tour back in December. So if you want to go have a proper look and see all the cars and all the bits and pieces that I have, there's a studio tour. I might even put a link in the video after I'm done here so you guys can have a look. What is the burst C rating on the 5200 pack? Wait, what? Oh god, there's so many comments. Sorry guys, there's a lot of comments. That can make a difference too. The burst, it doesn't actually say, but generally, if they're saying 50C constant, it's usually double that for burst, right? Usually. Sorry, got something. Yeah, because look, this one, have a look here. This one, see, 100C burst. So 50C discharge, 100C burst. So I would go on the assumption, even though it doesn't say anything on this one, I would go on the assumption that that would be the same deal. 50C discharge, 100C burst. That would be my guess. There's no information back here that says any different, is there? Charging with 1C rate is recommended. Never charge over 2C charge rate. Hopefully you guys all know what that means. Charge the battery to 3.8 volts per cell for long-term storage. How many of you don't put your batteries on storage charge? Come on, fess up. Fess up. Should always have your batteries on storage charge. Alright, let's turn this around. Did I get to the bottom of the Ovonic lazy lipos? No. What I am hoping to do is I'm hoping to get in contact with Ovonic because they said that they're going to be releasing some batteries this year, some new batteries. Now, when they say new batteries, I don't know if it's going to be new C ratings or what they're planning. They haven't told me anything like that. But they said they might be releasing some new batteries this year. And I'm hoping that I can maybe work with them in testing some of their batteries because I want them to have a good battery that all of us can afford and use for speed runs or high performance, you know, discharge ratings and things like that. So, you know, they'll get some feedback on this. I haven't heard from them in a while. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully they're not in quarantine because of the coronavirus or whatever. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully they're okay. In all seriousness, jokes aside, I hope they're all okay. All those people over there. So, yeah, I'll try and touch base with them and see if we can work something out and try and get, you know, some decent discharge. Because it would be good if they could have the 5200s, but maybe come out with like an 80C or a 100C, you know, because FPV quads, you know, those packs, they have very high C rating, and I guess, you know, FPV quads, race quads, they kind of need that high C rating because they're constantly on the throttle doing turns and all sorts of things, and they need that higher discharge to be able to punch out of the hole as quickly as they possibly can. So it would be good to get that technology of LipoCell into something like this. So we could use them in cars for those of us who like that little bit extra high performance. Are you an engineer? No, I am not an engineer. Always storage charge and put them in a battery bunker. LiPo fires are no fun. That is correct. Always storage charge after I use them. Well done. Lots of people doing the good thing. Good beginner plane. I have experience on gliders and have one with a gyro. John Carter. Good beginner plane. One of my first planes was the Bixler 2, which I have one in the garage. I don't know if you spot it. But that was one of my first. That was one of my first planes. But the thing, I guess I don't have one here to show you. The thing is, I started learning to fly on a simulator first, and then I went out and did that. But there's a lot of good beginner planes. I think I've actually got some videos about best beginner planes that I've used in the past. So, check out that video. Yes, all my FPV packs are 90C and above. That's right. What was your normal job? I still have a normal job. I work in a hobby shop. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, storage charge. What are some good 3S lipos for my eRevo 2.0? Well, you can get these. Oh God. What do we got here? Hold on. These are pretty good. The HRBs, 6000, 50. Are they 50C? No, 60C. These are 60C. So these are good. These will probably fit in your eRevo. I've been using these as well, the bashing ones, but they're not the strongest. If you have a look, that's a little bit bananaed. Oh, hang on, maybe not that one. I think the other one's worse. Yeah, this one's a little bit worse. It's also got a bit of damage on the end there, but it's fine. I'll put some fresh shrink wrap over the front, and I'll put some tape on them. So they're okay. They'll live. You'll be fine. What else have I got? Oh, that's it, really. I don't have a lot of other 3S packs. The only other ones I have are kind of like a hard case. So I've been using a lot of these bashing ones. These are pretty good. Yes. Here we go. I almost forgot these guys. Now, these are the short and stubby ones. You can get the same ones like this, but longer and thinner. And they're ideal for eRevo battery trays. So Gens Ace, definitely one of the best packs that I have. So highly recommend those for an eRevo or similar. Hello from the USA. Love the channel. Pat Blair. Thank you very much, Pat. Butchered your name there. Lipo fires are bad. Almost burnt my house down when charging one and had a heavy cough for a week. Yeah, that's nasty. How about Turnigy Panther Graphene? I don't have any Turnigy Panther Graphenes. I haven't used any of them. The problem that I'm finding with the Turnigy packs nowadays, like in other parts of the world, this scenario could be totally different to you guys. But for here, they're actually a lot more expensive than some of the Gens Ace stuff and some of the stuff that retail shops sell. So Panther packs have gone from being a good budget performance pack to being right up there with some of the most expensive batteries you can get. They're starting to creep into the grounds of Max Amps territory, to be honest with you. They're getting quite expensive for us here in Australia. Now, again, in other parts of the world, that might not be the case, but over here, unfortunately, it is. So it's hard to really recommend them as a good kind of value for money battery. I'm not saying that they don't perform well. I'm sure they do, but it's just value for money. I don't know, man. Like, I reckon there's other alternatives. What is the ideal running temperature of a nitro engine in a monster truck? Alan Lucas. Sorry to say, Alan, I have zero clue. I don't do with nitro. I'll go to. If I was to take a wild guess, I'd say you probably haven't seen too many of my videos because I don't do with nitro. Do you know if? Oh, hang on. Do you know if release any new RC soon? New version and or new car? No, I don't. Unfortunately, And even if I did, I couldn't tell you. So, no, I don't know of any new releases or updates or anything like that. Like even the whole Kraton update, Kraton 8S update that's happened recently with the new braces and radios and all that. I found that out through the Armour forum. Someone brought it to my attention in the Armour forum. So yeah, that's how I found out about that. Yeah, I think it's fair to say Armour have pretty much got radio silence with me for quite some time now. So I don't really know much about what's going on at their camp, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. It is what it is. So, what do we got going on? Softpack super hard. Art case, no, had 3 bad in less than 1 year. Oh, Jen's ace. Oh, okay. Danny B. Mario will tell you, you need more Losi cars. Yeah, I probably do need more Losi cars. I mean, look, we do have... Hang on, let me flip the camera around again so you can see this. We do have this over here. I'll turn this light on so you can see. So we have the Losi Super Rock Ray over there. And then over here, there is this guy with a custom cage. And it's got a different servo in there. Where is the servo, by the way? I don't even know. Oh, there it is. So there is a different servo up here. It's got all these blingy aluminium bits as well. There's a lot of bling on this thing. You'll see that's all aluminium, whilst on the stock one, it's all plastic. So there's a lot of aluminium arms here, plastic arms on the stock one. Hey, you need a plumber? Want a Bubba pizza? There you go. So yeah, my 2 rivals, which I'll do something with them at some stage, I suppose. So yeah, there's a lot. I do have a few Losi cars. Thanks, Vas, for the answer and for the great net NCFO. Hope you still get the latest Armour RC test out. Hang on. And thank you for the very honest opinion about the Kraton 8S. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I've always been honest with my reviews. I would hope that that's not a surprise to anyone. But just to recap the Kraton thing, the whole reason for that video that I did and why I kind of sounded a little bit disappointed with it was because the hype was through the roof. I was expecting this thing to just be on another level. And, as far as how it looks and how it drives, it's brilliant. All right. There's no denying that. You can't take that away from the Kraton 8S. Unless you don't like the other Kratons, you're not going to like the Kraton 8S and as far as how it looks. But the way that they built it, the build quality, so how it was assembled, make that clear, how it was assembled, the engineering that went into it and everything, and how it drives, like the thing handles amazing. You can't take that away from the Kraton 8S. But when you look at the overall performance, speed, and durability, it's undeniable that there was obviously some shortcomings there. And that's really why I felt really let down by it. If it had been, I suppose, less hyped, and it was just, it's all right, it's just another Kraton. Don't think too much of it. It's just another Kraton. It would have been, wow, this is cool, but it's so big and it's so heavy. But I can't really tell you too much of what I saw before the Kraton was released, because I think that will get some people in trouble. But what I had seen, it brought my expectations up quite high. And when I got the car, that wasn't the same thing. So it didn't feel like the car that it should have been. And it's a shame that you have to do all these mods and strengthen the car to really be what it should be. That's just how I felt about it, and that's why I did the video about it, and that's really what it is. That's not taking away the potential of the car. I don't want people to think, oh wow, this thing's a complete bag of horse manure. It's not the case at all. When it comes out of the box, it leaves something to be desired, but the car has enormous potential. And there are people out there like Rich Duperbash and RC Dude 81 and many others that have proven how much potential the car has got and how good it can be. It's just that you have to be prepared to invest some money into it. That's the reality of it. So that's it. Enough about that. I don't want to repeat myself forever. Creightons are fugly. Notorious and newest type and color scheme. Oh my god, the Caymans, I can't talk. The comments are coming through thick and fast right now. Try the Max 5 and the Hobbywing 800 kV. Yes. I will be doing all of that. You will see more updates on the Crayton. I promise you will see more updates on the Crayton 8S. It's just a matter of time now. And, you know, I've got all these new cars that I got to do, and I've got all these little projects and running videos, and RC Carnage just kicked back on again, so I got to do videos and edits for that. There's, you know, the Python unboxing, which I need to edit and upload. There's all little projects and little videos that I want to do, like the, you know, I want to do some more videos on the RC Hot Tip series. There's some speed runs that I need to get done as well for the Limitless and the Python and a couple of other cars. There's all these little things that need to get done. But it's time, and my days are usually quite long, and you know, I work a full-time job. I can't do this full-time. I wish I could. If I could do this full-time, you'd probably see videos a lot more frequently. Maybe, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 videos a week. Who knows? But you would see a lot more content. It's just, I can't afford to quit my full-time job. Otherwise, I can't keep the lights on. So, you know, YouTube revenues just doesn't pay for that. Will I use the Notorious in an RC Carnage? I certainly hope so. Carnage is what led me to your channel. I love them videos. Thank you. Have you ever thought about getting into crawling? I did try that. Crawling is something that just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry to say. I have nothing against it. So please, for all those crawlers out there, don't get offended. It's a wonderful hobby to get into. I have full respect for people who put a lot of time and effort into creating these beautiful scale vehicles, and they spend thousands of dollars on them, and they make them look fantastic. They look super real. I'm sure for them, for you, those cars are a lot of fun, but there's nothing there, and I can't force myself to like something that I just don't feel connected to, and that's the reality of it. I had a Axial Trail Honcho once. I gave it a red hot go. I went crawling with it, and I quickly realized 2 things. One, the first one was that this just wasn't for me. I didn't really get into it, and the other thing was that I really had no idea about those cars, and for me to even attempt to do some kind of a review on it would make me look like a fool. So I unboxed the car, I did a running video for it, and I sold it. And that was it. And I didn't really get it. Anything else after that? I think I got the Thunder Tiger Hilux truck, which is a 1/12 scale. I've still got it. I've been thinking about getting rid of it. I mean, I really like the truck. It's a beautiful little truck, but I don't use it. It's sitting there collecting dust. Crawling for me just, I can't. It just doesn't do it. And again, I'm not trying to be offensive or disrespect those who like it. I full respect for those of you who get into it, and admire those who have the terrain to do it as well. And you know, I know that it brings a lot of people together. You go out on trails together. I've seen a lot of these videos. It's a really cool part of the hobby. It's just not something that A, I grew up with, and B, I'm into. So hope that answers that. All right. Darren's hard at work. Sorry. I will be ending this soon because it's coming up to an hour. So I also need to get myself ready for bed. Got to get my beauty sleep. All good. Different strokes for different folks. Yeah, absolutely, Shannon. That's really why there are so many aspects of this hobby. If you break down RC as a whole, there is RC planes, RC boats, RC quads, RC cars, RC buggies, RC racing, RC bashing, RC crawling. There are so many different aspects of crawling, and then there are subcategories within that as well in some cases. So there is a lot of stuff that goes on here, and in the hobby, and I think it's one of the reasons why so many of us have so many of these toys, because sometimes we get into all these different genres of the hobby. Like, yeah, I love my cars, I love my monster trucks and my buggies, and I love going fast and jumping and doing all that, but I also have a massive passion for my planes, and that's why I have so many of them. And I know that a lot of people don't get into planes, and that's fine. I'm not expecting everyone to like what I like. That's all good. Same way with the crawlers. So it's fine. It's different strokes for different folks. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, I think that's the aim of the game. It's the aim of any hobby, really. Whether you like RC or collecting stamps, or you like to go chase Pokemon with your phone. Whatever blows your skirt up. Gary, more MT410 videos. Yes. I fixed the servo horn last night, so the servo horn and the truck is working fine. I have a spare set of Badlands, just standard Badlands. A lot of people have been telling me to try these. So we're going to be trying these Badlands out on the Tekno MT410. And we'll see how that goes. So next time I go out there, hopefully if this weekend the weather's half decent. I don't know if it's going to be good for this Friday, to be honest, because tomorrow's looks as though it's going to be raining all day. So if I go to the track on Friday, even if it doesn't rain, the track's going to be soggy and it's going to be muddy. I really don't want to do that because then I have to clean the truck for the next 3 days. Because every time I take my cars out and they get muddy, it's a complete tear down process to clean them and make sure that they're all 100%. So I'm not looking forward to doing that in the mud. I know it might make for some good content, but yeah, carrying those things around, having to clean them, and not my favorite type of thing. Hangar tour. I just did a hangar tour. Bed is almost 5 a.m. Yeah, I know it's almost 5 a.m. where you are. It's probably like 10 a.m. here. I don't even know. Can I check my time? Oh yeah, it's 9:45. There you go. Yeah, I can check my time. Where we got? Rain from the X-cyclone is supposed to hit over the next few days from down south. Alright, yeah, okay. Missed the old BMX track. Yeah, well, that's long gone now. So what do you think of the X-Mass? It looks awesome, but I absolutely hate tracks. Yeah, look, I mean, I was never going to hate the truck. I've seen enough videos, and I've had enough people kind of tell me whether I want to hear it or not, how good this truck is. I was never going to hate it. And I know that it's a good truck. There's no denying that. There's a lot of good things about this truck. So, yeah, I like the truck. I'm not going to deny it. It definitely has a few things that annoy me that I wish they would fix. But I know how they are. They're super stubborn, and they'll just go, people will just buy the upgrades and they'll modify it and they'll do their own thing. And we'll just keep it as it is, and that's the way that it's going to be for a while. Although they did fix one thing. I don't have the body here, but hang on. So with the stock bodies, yeah, that's right. I do have this body as well for the X-Max. It came with it when I bought it. So for those of you who don't know the story of the X-Max, my X-Max, I bought it second hand, and it had that red body that you saw in the video as well. The guy also had this, and yeah, this is kind of like the shelf body. I'm not going to wreck this one. And then the other body I'm just going to trash until I decide to get a Proline body. So anyway, this one, as you can see, it has these screws. And this is something that has been a known issue with this truck for a number of years. This is something that, Mr. T brand should have fixed within the first 12 months of people having the issues of the screws pulling through the body. And it's only up until recently that they actually decided to put the plastic washers on here, because they did it on the Max, they did it on the little one. So all the new ones that they've now updated the color scheme on, they now come with the little plastic washers on here. And I've ordered a set for myself. I've actually ordered 2 sets, one for this body and one for the original body as well. So, but I don't know how long it's going to be until that turns up. It's probably going to be a while, because our supplier here for Traxxas isn't exactly the best, so I'm going to have to wait a bit to get that. This FAA remote ID is a bit of a worry for us aero modelers. Much concerns from the industry. Any thoughts? I said I was going to finish this in an hour, yeah? So we're about to go an hour now. This is an hour. Alright, so the FAA thing, any thoughts about that? Yes, it's a bit of a concern. I fly at a model field, so I don't know if that's going to apply to me because I will be flying in a controlled environment as a particular location that's approved. But the FAA's whole thing is mainly in the US as far as I'm aware. It's not something that's going to apply to us here, at least not yet. But I think we need to look at the reality of the situation. It doesn't matter what rules they imply. The reason why these rules are even being considered is because big organizations like Domino's and Amazon want to buy the free airspace that exists below 400 feet. They want to commercialize that airspace, and the only way that they can commercialize it safely is by purchasing it from the government bodies, whoever controls that airspace. Now, for the last, I don't know how many decades, hundreds of years, 100 years, not hundreds of years, but 100 years, ever since, the Wright brothers basically constructed their own little models, and then they decided to make their own aeroplane and so on and so forth. Like, all of that started from model aeroplanes, right? It all started from creating and designing your own models and building your own thing. Ever since that has been the case, and ever since commercial air flight has become a standard in our lives, anything below 400 feet is safe for us to fly our model airplanes. There are some exceptions to the rule, of course, but it's been safe for the modelers to do that, and it's never been an issue. The issue that has arisen is it's a double-edged sword. It's the big organizations that want to buy and commercialize that airspace, and B, DJI is partially to blame, or mostly to blame, because DJI make self-flying drones. They make, anybody with opposable thumbs, you can hand that thing to a zoo monkey and it will fly, and they probably won't even crash it. It's a simple instrument that has a camera attached and it flies itself. It has obstacle avoidance sensors, it has GPS, return to home. I mean, the thing does everything except scratch your balls while you're flying it. It's that good. And with everybody wanting to get their hands on these things and making these drones be more and more accessible to the masses, people that are not hobbyists, people that are not modelers, they have other intentions for these drones. So people are using them to transport drugs, throw things over the bloody prison fences, invade privacy, smash them into buildings, do surveillance on people they don't like, attach rockets to them, and do all sorts of crazy stuff, right? So then enter the media. Media start fear-mongering everybody, saying that these things are dangerous, that they're going to crash into planes, all these people are going to die, it's the apocalypse, the drone apocalypse, right? So it's the worst thing in the world is these drones. So everybody starts calling them drones, and even the guys that fly FPV quads are also known as drones. And anybody that doesn't know any better, you see some guy with a kid that bought a $20 drone that they're flying in the park, and some Karen decides to go, you can't fly that here, you need a license, you need a Jeep, you need remote ID, and you need all these fears and all these things that exist now is because of those easy to fly drones and all that sort of stuff. So the guys like us that know what we're doing, that know the risks, know how to fly safely and build our own planes and look after our own things, we're the ones that are copping it in the nuts now because of those people. And it sucks. And then you have, of course, the commercial the commercial companies that are wanting to the big organizations that want to commercialize this airspace. And our hobby doesn't turn any revenue for that airspace. We don't own it. We don't pay rent on it. We don't do anything. It's free to use for everybody. But if someone goes around, hey, I'll pay you some cash if you let me use it, just get rid of these guys. Get rid of all the modelers and all the drone users. Get rid of them so I can fly my drones and deliver my packages and my pizzas and what have you without crashing into them, and make people believe that they're the evil ones, then, what chance do we have of saving that airspace, of doing what we've been doing for the God knows how many decades without hurting anybody, without doing anything? Not very much. And that's the harsh reality of it. That's the way I see it. So it sucks. I don't know if it's going to happen here in this country. But I know it's happening in other parts of the world, and I feel sorry for those of you who have to deal with it because it's not right. And at the end of the day, those bureaucrats and people that are in power, those pencil pushers, guys that have no idea about the hobby, do not understand it, don't comprehend it, they've never been a part of it, are just looking at numbers and figures and money. That's all they care about. That's it. That's my thoughts on the whole FAA debacle. So there you go. God damn it, Karen. Yep. I don't ever worry about a long live stream. People love your opinions and love to hear them. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it. I've got to fly. Cheers, Vass. Love the content. Take it easy. Thank you very much. Futura V2 and the FMS Flash are on my list. Very good. Scott Thompson. Yeah. Be prepared for the Flash. The Flash is a butt clencher. I'll give you a fair warning. And it's a prick to land. So, be warned. It flies really good, but be warned. Think you have the best and most trusted overview test of RC cars. Thank you, Jeppy. Oh, I appreciate that. So there we go. True. Gonna say you speak the absolute truth with the airspace thing. It'll come. Dollar rules. RC airspace. Badger. Armor or tractors. Oh, someone wants to stir the pot. Alright, we have been at this for an hour and 5 minutes. I think this stream has been long enough. I think we reached a total of about 93 people watching. I think that's the most I've ever had. I think on Facebook I usually get about 30 odd. So definitely appreciate all of you who have taken the time and watched this. I do have to go, however, so I might do one again in the future. Who knows? Maybe I might make this a bi-weekly thing or a monthly thing and do it more often. I'll keep putting up community posts from time to time and fill you guys in between videos on what's going on. And if I'm up to it and I've got the energy, who knows, I might do these live streams a little bit more, especially when there are so many people watching. So really appreciate it, guys. Thank you all for your input. I'm sorry I didn't answer all your questions or read all your comments. Some of them came through really fast, and I know I was babbling on a bit. So could you do a tour of your hobby shop where you work? A tour of my hobby shop? Maybe I could. What do we got? Steve, like, good night, guys. Love your work. Love your channel. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Thumbs up from me. All the best. Off to watch the rest of the hangar tour. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Feeling FPV. I couldn't agree more. Amazon and DJI. I always take an extra FPV RX screen to Karen and can see what I can see. Outreach. Cheers for your thoughts and thanks for the answering my questions. No, not a problem at all. That's the other man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the likes and the comments. Thank you all. I'm going to end this one here. And yeah, I'll catch you all next time. See you. Cheers. Bye.